Ladies and gentlemen, this weekend is going to be the biggest weekend in professional wrestling as WWE presents the Showcase of the Immortals, Wrestlemania. This year's Road to WrestleMania build wasn't the best, but at the end of the day, WWE is going to give us a great show. So I'm not going to waste any more time and let's get into the matches on WrestleMania Saturday. The first match I want to talk about is El Grande Americano versus Rey Mysterio. And for those who are saying, that's not Chad Gable, that's somebody else. Are you stupid? It is Chad Gable. Chad Gable wanted to find a way to make it to WrestleMania, and this is it. So the story is that after Chad Gable lost to Penta, Chad Gable wanted to learn the physics of Lucha Libre. So then a mask was given to him by a person from Mexico. And then we got the reveal of El Grande Americano. Now, El Grande Americano made his debut during a tag team match between the New Day and the LWO. Then the next couple of weeks later, El Grande Americano went one-on-one with Dragon Lee, who got his mask taken off. Rey Mysterio wasn't going to have that, as he wanted to take off El Grande Americano's mask. Plus, Rey Mysterio was sick and tired of El Grande Americano interfering in matches that are involving the LWO. So he went to Adam Pearce and he wanted the match against El Grande Americano at WrestleMania. Adam Pearce gave it to him, and now we are having the match this weekend at WrestleMania. Now, who wins this match? I'm going with Rey Mysterio. Why? Because there has been a lot of shenanigans happening throughout the last couple of weeks on Monday Night Raw. Rey Mysterio is going to get his revenge against El Grande Americano, and I'm sure after the match, El Grande Americano will get unmasked, and it will be Chad Gable under that mask. I'm sure the match is going to be a fun match. Chad Gable and Rey Mysterio can work really well together. And yes, I said Chad Gable. What are you going to do about it? Now, the next match I want to talk about is for the World Tag Team titles. The New Day versus the champions, the War Raiders. Now, before I get into the story on how this match happened, people were arguing that this match should not be on WrestleMania. Weren't you the same guys that wanted tag team title matches in pay-per-views? Well, you're getting it. But then you guys are saying, oh, this is not the match that I wanted. You wanted a tag team title match at WrestleMania? You wanted a tag team title match on pay-per-view? There you go. Now stop crying. The story is that the New Day have been wanting the tag team titles for a very long time. They had their match on Monday Night Raw, and it didn't go well. The New Day got the War Raiders disqualified for using a chair, and I believe this was for the tag team titles on Monday Night Raw. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But with the New Day getting the victory, they are definitely getting a title shot against the War Raiders, and that's what we're getting at WrestleMania. So who wins this match? I'm going with the War Raiders. Why do I say that? Because I believe Big E is going to get involved in this match. With the referee distracted or something, or maybe like the referee is knocked out, Big E comes out, gets his revenge on the New Day, and that's where the War Raiders retain their titles. Big E could even have like his neck brace on, and then you could have like the New Day laughing at him because isn't his neck still supposedly broken or something? But then Big E could take off the neck brace and start fighting against the New Day. That's how I would do it. But yeah, my prediction is the War Raiders retaining the World Tag Team titles. And after WrestleMania, the tag team division needs to be shaken up. I honestly think that they should have kept the titles unified. And the IWC wanted the tag team titles to be split. And look at that. They want them to be unified again. Y'all can't make up your minds. Alright, enough talk about the IWC. The next match I want to talk about is Jade Cargill versus Naomi. Now, this is actually a crazy fact. This is the first match in the women's division at WrestleMania that does not include a championship. So this all started when Jade Cargill made her return at Elimination Chamber. And before Jade Cargill actually made her return, obviously she was attacked back in November by somebody. We don't know who it was. So it took us like 3 to 4 months to figure out who attacked Jade Cargill until we got to the Elimination Chamber. Now remember that Nick Aldis and Bianca Belair and Naomi, they were all together. They were seeing some footage from the attack, but it was after the attack. And whoever was recording, they panned the camera to Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, making us believe that both of those ladies attacked Jade Cargill. But it wasn't. So going into the Elimination Chamber, Naomi and Liv Morgan started the match. And then a few seconds later into the match, Jade Cargill comes out, she gets into the chamber, and then she attacks Naomi. Now Bianca Belair, she couldn't do anything because she was locked in the pod. And after this beatdown, Naomi was eliminated from the Elimination Chamber. She didn't even get pinned or she didn't even get submitted, so she just got eliminated just like that. So then we go to next week on Friday Night SmackDown. Bianca Belair calls out Naomi so that they could talk about Jade Cargill. Bianca asks Naomi, "Did you attack Jade?" And then all of a sudden, both of these ladies are having an argument, and then to a point where they started crying. So then after a few moments after the crying and stuff, Naomi admits that she was the one who attacked Jade Cargill. And Bianca Belair walked away from Naomi, wanting nothing to do with her anymore. So then a few weeks after the segment, Naomi started changing up her character. She's ditching the glow and she is proceeding with caution. So then after a few weeks, we get to the European tour. Jade Cargill and Naomi get into some brawls. Nick Aldis comes out and tells them that you guys are going to fight at WrestleMania. So who wins this match? I'm honestly going with Naomi. Because to be honest, I don't really think Jade Cargill needs the win. Okay, look. For those who are saying that, oh, Jade Cargill needs to win. Look, I get it. You do want her to win to get her revenge. But Naomi, she has had a tough time. She never had the chance to shine on her own. She did in TNA, but not here in WWE. So that is the reason why I think Naomi gets the victory against Jade Cargill. Now the next match I want to talk about is for the United States Champion, as the current champion, LA Knight, takes on Jacob Fatu. Now this is kind of taking it into a story between Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. Now the United States Championship has not been treated the way that it used to be treated. And I'm sure the United States title is going to get the treatment that it used to get treated when Jacob Fatu gets the victory. Now why do I say that? Because Jacob Fatu said that I'm going to bring gold back to the family. Now I'm sure he will do that by defeating LA Knight for the United States title. But I have a feeling that after WrestleMania on SmackDown, Solo might turn on Jacob Fatu because he wanted the United States title. And this could lead to a United States title match at the next pay-per-view after WrestleMania, Backlash. But you never know what can happen. Anything can happen in WWE. So I'm going with Jacob Fatu winning the United States Champion. Look, LA Knight, he's great, but he hasn't really done anything with the title. I'm just being completely honest. Now the next match I want to talk about is for the WWE Women's Championship. The current champion, Tiffany Stratton, going one-on-one with the 2025 Royal Rumble winner, Charlotte Flair. Now, I wanted this to be good, but this was a complete disaster. Now, I will say this. The build-up was a complete dumpster fire, but the match could end up being a banger. Now, throughout the build-up, Charlotte Flair has always wanted the spotlight. She wanted to make it all about herself. And do you guys remember that shoot promo that they had on SmackDown a couple of weeks ago? All of that was not supposed to happen. Now I get that going off script is supposed to make like the story better, but this honestly made it worse. I swear, I cannot have these ladies on my television screens talking to each other. I don't even want to hear Charlotte talk. Now I'm assuming that all of you Charlotte Flair fans are going to call me a hater, but look, Charlotte Flair is a great wrestler. But on the mic, she's awful. And apparently Charlotte Flair's goal is to break her dad's record. I'm going to tell you right now. Charlotte Flair does not need another championship run. Because when Charlotte Flair came back, I thought the women's division was going to be better. But no, the women's division is even worse. And I'm just being completely honest here. Did anybody want Charlotte Flair back? Like seriously, who asked for Charlotte Flair to be back in WWE TV? And then I'm going to get comments saying,
okay, what's the reason why you think Charlotte Flair should never return, huh?
I'll tell you. She's done everything. She doesn't need another title reign. She doesn't even need to be in a mid-card division. Nothing. She's done it all. She's done. And here's the problem that I really have with Charlotte Flair. Every time she returns, she gets a championship match right away. Why?
Oh, because she's a big name in the women's division.
So what? She's got to go all the way back to the line and fight her way to get a championship match. Not just walk in here and say, hey, I'm Charlotte Flair, and I'm challenging you for the WWE Women's title at WrestleMania. Okay, I'll stop with the Charlotte Flair shenanigans, okay? Let's talk about WrestleMania. For here, I want Tiffany Stratton to get the victory against Charlotte Flair. Why? I just told you why. Now that I finally got Charlotte Flair out of my head, let's talk about the next match, and it's for the World Heavyweight Championship. Jey Uso versus Gunther. Now, after the Royal Rumble, Jey Uso obviously chose Gunther to face at WrestleMania. Now, the story was just brawling, just Jey Uso competing in a match, and then after the match, Gunther brawls with him. And we just kept on seeing it over and over and over again for like 3 weeks. So then, when we go to the European countries, Jey Uso needed a tag team partner because he was going to be facing A-Town Down Under. That tag team partner turned out to be Jimmy Uso, so that the Usos are back together. So then we get to next week on Monday Night Raw. Jimmy Uso and Gunther are going one-on-one with each other. Gunther wins the match. Jey Uso comes out to try to save Jimmy. Obviously, like I said in my Raw review, Gunther completely destroyed Jimmy, leaving him in a bloody mess. And after that happened, Jey Uso completely changed from being a yeet man to being a serious man. And after that incident, Jey Uso, usually when he comes out through the crowd. The crowd yeets, but not him. Then, last Monday night on Raw, if you missed those promos, well, you can go ahead and watch my Raw review. Gunther and Jey Uso had separate segments. So who wins this match? Of course, I'm going with the yeet man, Jey Uso. I said before Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble, Jey Uso is not World Championship material. But when he won the Royal Rumble, it made me change my mind on Jey Uso being the World Heavyweight Champion. So like I said, the brawls between Jey Uso and Gunther, this was proving that not many people are anticipating on Jey Uso winning the world title. But once they did that Jimmy spot, now they changed their minds. So Gunther, I think your title reign is going to be over when we get to WrestleMania. And now we get to the main event of WrestleMania Night 1. It is a triple threat matchup. CM Punk versus Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. So when we get to War Games, CM Punk was a part of the OG Bloodline. So, before this, CM Punk told Heyman, you owe me a favor. And throughout the next couple of months, we try to figure out what that favor is. So then we get to the Raw premiere on Netflix. Punk takes on Seth Rollins one-on-one. CM Punk beats him. Then we get to the Raw Rumble to have CM Punk eliminate both Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. And this led to a brawl between CM Punk and Seth Rollins, who completely destroyed Roman Reigns with a double stomp. So then, a month later, we get to the Elimination Chamber. CM Punk's goal is to main event WrestleMania. He didn't do it at the Rumble, but will he do it at the Chamber? Unfortunately, he did not, because he got screwed by Seth Rollins. And obviously after that moment, we had that Cody segment with The Rock and John Cena's ultimate heel turn. But we'll talk about John Cena and Cody Rhodes later on in this video. So then CM Punk on the next night on Monday Night Raw, he goes off against The Rock and John Cena, and then he turns his attention to Seth Rollins, saying, Becky Lynch, you better get your man before I put him in a stretcher. Seth Rollins comes out, Punk comes in, they start brawling. Then, in the next couple of weeks, we get a steel cage match. And in that match, Seth Rollins was going to end CM Punk until Roman Reigns pulled him out of the cage, which led to Seth Rollins getting the win. But Roman didn't even care. He wanted revenge against Seth Rollins for what he did at the Royal Rumble. So then we get to Europe, and WWE is doing SmackDown there. CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins are there, all having this argument, and then they start brawling. They all point at the WrestleMania sign, making us think that, oh yes, this is happening at WrestleMania. Now, before all of this happened, the match got leaked months ago. And people were saying, well, how is this going to work? There's no way that we can have this work. Turns out, they made it work. So then we get to next week when they were in London. They all signed the contract, and Punk was looking for something in the contract. And Paul Heyman told him, it's in there. You are main eventing WrestleMania, and you are here to thank Roman Reigns for that. So CM Punk acknowledges Roman Reigns and says thank you to the Tribal Chief, but then he says, that's not the favor that I'm owed. So then we go to SmackDown next week in Chicago, and CM Punk said that he was going to reveal the favor on that night, but he wanted to reveal it when Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns are in the ring together. Oh, and Paul Heyman too. So then we go later on in the night and Punk reveals what the favor is. He wants Paul Heyman to be on his corner at WrestleMania. And people were actually searching up the video where Paul Heyman said that when you main event WrestleMania, I am going to be on your corner. And I heard people saying that,
Oh, this was long-term booking. They finally did something good.
that's not long-term booking. That's a callback. Even WWE acknowledged it in a video package the next week on SmackDown. So then we go to Monday Night Raw. Seth Rollins keeps manipulating Roman Reigns and getting into his head. Favors are about decisions. So then Roman Reigns even admits, he's right. You made a decision, and now I made mine. And that's where they had the brawl. And the last person to be standing when Raw went off the air was Seth Rollins. And speaking of Seth Rollins, the week before, he told Paul Heyman, now you owe me a favor. Who is winning this triple threat match? It's pretty hard, but I'll tell you this. Roman Reigns is not winning this match. This either leads to a heel turn of Seth Rollins or CM Punk. And with Seth Rollins saying, now you owe me a favor to Paul Heyman, does this mean that Paul Heyman is turning on Punk and Roman to join Seth Rollins? I don't know, but I honestly think that would be a shocking moment. So who do I want to win this match? I am going, surprisingly, with Seth Rollins. Maybe this heel turn can lead to Seth Rollins winning, and what if this actually does work? I don't know. It's the main event of WrestleMania. Big things happen there. So, we're going to have to find out. Now, I am recording this on a Thursday, and this is before SmackDown. Now, Randy Orton was supposed to have a match against Kevin Owens at WrestleMania, but it's not happening now due to Kevin Owens getting injured. So now with Kevin Owens injured, who does Randy Orton face at WrestleMania? Because I know for damn sure Randy Orton is not missing WrestleMania. They kind of teased it when Randy Orton was going off against Nick Aldis. He even gave him an RKO. So they teased a possible Nick Aldis in-ring return against Randy Orton. But unfortunately, I think we are going to end up seeing Randy Orton versus Solo Sikoa. And I'm like, really? We go from Kevin Owens to Solo Sikoa? Now I get it. Solo and Randy have some history, but you kind of don't need this. This is like a SmackDown match. I don't know. If this is Randy Orton's actual match at WrestleMania, I guess. And no, I don't hate Solo Sikoa. I do not have any problems with him. I'm just not excited for like a Solo Sikoa match, okay? And I'm not saying that he's bad in the ring. No, Solo Sikoa is a really good wrestler. So now we go from night 1 to night 2 of WrestleMania. So the first match I want to talk about in WrestleMania Night 2 is for the women's tag team titles. Mid Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Lyra Valkyria and Bayley. Wait a minute. Those are still a thing? I thought they got rid of them. I swear, I thought they got rid of the women's tag team titles. Wasn't there a time where they actually got rid of them? I don't know. I can't find a reason why this is happening on the show.
Oh, because we want Liv Morgan on the show.
Oh my god, shut up about that crap. Well, you want Liv Morgan on the show? You finally got it. Now stop crying. The women's tag team titles don't mean anything anymore. They only meant something when Bayley and Sasha were the tag team champions. Those titles should have stayed gone all the way back in 2022. You guys know, Bayley and Sasha walked out. No, not Bayley and Sasha. Naomi and Sasha walked out. Those titles should have stayed gone. But, of course, the IWC always coming in and say,
Oh, we want the women's tag team titles back.
And what happened? They brought them back for what? I hate the women's tag team titles for this reason. They don't have enough women! And then WWE has to go over and say, hey, you're with this person. And let's say that Natalia. Natalia has just been teaming with everybody at this point. She was just teaming with Maxine Dupree. Look how that turned out. The only legitimate team I see on this roster is literally Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. Why aren't you using NXT teams? Oh yeah, I also found out that they're doing a stand and deliver fatal 4-way women's tag team number one contender match or whatever they're doing. And I heard that whoever gets the win in this match will face the women's tag team champions for the titles on the next episode of NXT. You know, the NXT After Stand and Deliver. Whatever. I'm going for Mid Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez to win. And that gauntlet match that they did on SmackDown, so predictable. Come on. The next match I want to talk about is AJ Styles versus Logan Clown. Of course! What's WrestleMania without Logan Clown? I don't know what else he needs to accomplish, but I just think that he doesn't really need to be in WrestleMania anymore. I get he's a signed WWE superstar. He's a part-timer, by the way. But I don't think there's anything else for him to accomplish. Now, it would be a nightmare if Logan Clown was to be crowned the WWE champion. Please, Triple H, don't do that. But I will admit, Logan Paul is actually a good wrestler. And he is going one-on-one with a wrestler who has had many great matches over the years, AJ Styles. It is a great thing to see AJ Styles on the WrestleMania card because what if WrestleMania goes on without AJ Styles? You know, when AJ Styles came back in late 2024 on SmackDown and then he got re-injured again, I thought he was going to miss WrestleMania. But no, he came back on Monday Night Raw and then Logan Clown decided to ruin the entire celebration. And this clown challenged AJ Styles to a match at WrestleMania to see who the better wrestler is. Now, who wins this match? Come on. It's got to be AJ Styles. AJ Styles really needs to get back into the game and probably get a championship match someday. So he definitely needs this win against the clown. Now, the next match I want to talk about is Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre in a Sin City street fight. Now, everybody was criticizing WWE on why they were doing this match. You know, these guys can deliver a great match. So I don't know why you guys are criticizing this and saying that, oh, this is gonna suck. Oh, this is not a WrestleMania match. You know that incident from the Royal Rumble where Damian Priest eliminated Drew McIntyre? Apparently that wasn't supposed to happen, but they turned it into a story. But no, you guys are upset at that. Plus, Damian Priest even screwed Drew McIntyre out of the Elimination Chamber. But no, you guys are still upset about that. Maybe if you would watch the shows and listen to Drew McIntyre and listen to Damian Priest talk, then you would understand what's going on. To those who are complaining about Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest happening at WrestleMania, you guys are as clueless as ever. This match is going to go crazy. You all know that Drew McIntyre can deliver a great match. Even Damian Priest. So who wins this match? Honestly, I think I'm going to have to go with Damian Priest. Damian Priest has showed us throughout the years that he is a superstar. And he knows exactly who he is. Now, what spots are we going to see in the street fight? Well, table bumps. I don't know, someone going through a ladder. Thumbtacks? Nah, I doubt it. The next match I want to talk about is the Women's World Championship Triple Threat match. Io Sky defending the world title against Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. Now the story is that Rhea Ripley was the world champion, and Io Sky has been wanting a world championship match. So they have the match after the Elimination Chamber, and Bianca Belair was watching. And during the match, Rhea Ripley believes that Bianca Belair is helping out Io Sky. So this is as seen as a distraction so that Io Sky could get the advantage and win the Women's World Championship. So then this match was originally supposed to be Bianca Belair versus Io Sky. But since Rhea Ripley started getting upset at what happened, she wanted to get involved in this as well. And everybody knew where this was going. Triple threat, triple threat. And then weeks later, the match is official. Now in this build-up, it's mostly about Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley, with Io Sky just there. But you can't build it up like just Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair with Io Sky just being just there. She's the Women's World Champion. So who wins this match? I'm going with Io Sky, because she won the title about a month ago, And there is no way that they are going to have Io Sky as a transitional champion, as they like to call it. I honestly think that Rhea Ripley doesn't really need the title anymore, but obviously, she is still super over with the crowd. And Bianca, look, I want her to be a singles star and a singles champion again, but I don't think right now is the time. So I'm going with Io Sky with the victory and to retain the Women's World Championship. Now the next match I want to talk about is the big fatal 4-way match for the Intercontinental Championship. We got Penta versus Braun Breaker versus Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio. Now the story is that Braun Breaker has been wanting challengers for his Intercontinental Championship. Penta, who was in the European tour, he said that he wants the Intercontinental Championship. Same with Finn Balor and same with Dominic Mysterio. There has been a bunch of shenanigans with all four of these guys, and it led to this matchup here. Now the big thing about this match is that this could lead to Finn Balor getting kicked out of the Judgment Day. Dominic Mysterio has been saying, hey, maybe we should get a new member of the team. Finn Balor's like, what? What are you talking about? We don't need a new member. The Judgment Day, honestly, has not been the same. If I was the booker, I would just get rid of the name, get rid of the group, split everybody up to do their own thing, and then there you go. Not so hard to split up the Judgment Day whatsoever. And then when Dominic Mysterio has been saying that we need a new member, he suggested Penta to join the group. Really, Dom? Are you serious? Instead of suggesting Penta to join the group, maybe you should be eating more chicken tenders. Penta and Braun Breaker actually fought for the Intercontinental Championship until it was ruined by the Judgment Day. Adam Pearce ended up announcing the match on social media. So who wins this match? I know Braun Breaker is not going to retain that title. Penta, he can't win it. He just got here. I'm not saying that I hate Penta, but I'm just saying I want to give it to Finn Balor, but the unfortunate thing is that my prediction is that I'm unfortunately am going with Dominic Mysterio. Dominic could probably make the Intercontinental title mean something again, because Braun Breaker in his second run with the Intercontinental Championship, he didn't really do much. And plus, Braun Breaker doesn't even need to be pinned at all to lose the championship. Say that Dominic pins Finn Balor, or maybe Dominic pins Penta. I think WWE should just give Dominic Mysterio the championship without Braun Breaker getting pinned. But yes, I am going with Dominic Mysterio to win the Intercontinental Championship. So now we get to the main event of WrestleMania Night 2. Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the undisputed WWE Championship. Now look, I've heard a lot of people say that John Cena and The Rock have not been showing up on WWE TV. And that is one of the reasons why that WrestleMania's build is not really good. The dude who has been carrying this rivalry behind his back is Cody Rhodes. He is the only person that is carrying this feud, while John Cena and The Rock are doing what they usually do, being part-timers. And once again, I'm recording this on Thursday, they're going to have a face-to-face one last time on SmackDown. Which, by the way, I will not be doing a SmackDown review because it's WrestleMania weekend and there's going to be a lot of stuff going on. So who wins this match? Obviously, there is definitely, and I mean definitely, going to be a lot of shenanigans happening during that match. Kind of like a Bloodline Rules match that happened last year. The Rock is definitely going to be at WrestleMania, 100%. I want to go for Cody, but look, John Cena said that he is going to ruin wrestling. And to take the WWE title with him, it's probably only the beginning of his true retirement tour. And Cody Rhodes has held that WWE title for already a year. So, does he win? I unfortunately have to say no. WrestleMania 41 could end in a travesty. And I don't mean in a bad way, I mean in a good way. Cody could try to overpower John Cena, The Rock, or anybody else. He did it last year when he was fighting Roman Reigns in the Bloodline Rules match. But I have a feeling that Rock could come up with something that could weaken Cody Rhodes. Whatever it is, it's probably going to have people talking. So yes, guys, I am going for John Cena to be a 17-time world champion. So I want to ask you guys, are you excited for WrestleMania? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, tap the notification bell for more videos. Follow me on Twitter at Ethan's Toy Show. See you in the next one, and enjoy WrestleMania.